Hi, Dr. Cranky's back again. Today we're going to show you how to replace the inner wire of a brake. Sometimes that inner wire will get frayed or gunked up, it won't move and you need to replace it. So I'll show you how to do that today. So the brakes, they run from here down. So from the brake lever down, there's an inner wire in the housing, goes to a cable stop here. That wire comes there, back into the housing, into the noodle and across into the cantilevers here. And on the front one it's much shorter, so it's down straight in to here. I'll show you a bit closer up. So here we have the brake levers, goes into, there's the lock nut and the adjusting nut for the brakes, into the housing, down through here, there's a cable stop, the wire, another cable stop, down and around into the noodle, in through to here. Yep. And in behind here is the end of the cable. We duck in here, and then the end cap. And usually the problem is in this section here, it'll get frayed at the cable anchor bolt there or in here, and that's what you'll find. It's, you know, when there's one or two strands here or in here, you'll say, all right, it's time to replace it. So that's the usual case. Or it could get caught in here in the housing. So sometimes you just can't retrieve it by lubricating the cable, so you need to replace that. So here, we'll loosen this off, the 5mm, and it will come loose. And then we've got to get this, the cable end off, and then we'll pull that cable all the way through. Instead of needle nose pliers or pliers, and you just squish this and pull it off, comes off, or you can just cut the end off with pliers. Can do it, but really you want a proper bike cable cutter to cut that off, and you can pull it through. So that will come through. Now the noodle, there's that inner wire, all the way up here. Keep these little things. Stop the inner wire rattling. We're up here. And here's the tricky bit. So here there's a adjustment nut, and then the lock nut is here. The adjustment and then the lock nut, and you can see, here there's a groove, a slot and another slot. If we line those two slots up, and then there's another slot underneath in the actual brake lever. Line all three of them up, the cable will come out of this all the way out. And then it's in here. Oh, I'll show you up underneath. It comes out, so there's a little barrel, goes into that slot and all the way through. Now when we take that inner wire out, we want to keep the length of housing. You can see on the housing, this is the outer housing with the end caps. You want to keep those end caps as well. Sometimes they can pull off, but you want to keep those end caps because when they go into the cable, the stops here, that stops them. Stop the cable pulling through on those stops. So first things first, I like to first of all get that first bit of housing, which was up near the brakes, and run it through. We've got a new inner wire, and the inner wire has got a barrel on the end, whereas if you've got a brake wire, will have a slightly different barrel. So this has got a barrel, and this has just really got a smaller and different orientation, and the wire is actually thinner on the gear wire. So the brake inner wire is thicker, it's got that barrel. See the difference there. So let's rethread this inner wire. Under here is a bolt. Here I've loosened that so we can bring it up so we can see what we can do. So it's sometimes easier, get in under here, loosen that one and bring it up here, and then through here you can little slot here in the lever, put that barrel in there, run it down that slot, and then line these two slots up in the adjuster, and then wind that back in, and then we've got, so that's in there, so we've slotted that, and then tighten this back up underneath. So we've got that at the front here. It's loaded into the housing, and we run it round from there. Bring this all the way around, and then it goes into this cable stop. Yep, down, and this is where the other bit of cable is, which we've kept. So, sorry, housing. Whoop. The housing, and you can see we're missing that last piece there. So where did that go? You can stop it. You can stop it. So that cable end fell off, so we get another one. They look a bit like that, and we'll make sure that's on. So we need that on, otherwise it can slip through that cable housing. So it goes into that cable housing there, and then through the noodle. Funny name, the noodle. Yep. Ah, that's what it was. We didn't need it on that end because it's got the noodle cable housing. So and this one we didn't need it because the noodle, it sits into the end of the noodle. That's why it was missing. Yep. And through this piece here, and we've got through there. See that? Yep. And then through the, oh, usually you need to thread it through. Can you see that down in there? Yep. I'm going to come around this way. Yep. So we'll pull this, making sure everything's seated. Yep. And then we'll tighten this. So pull that lever in, and then tighten it up, and then we'll just check the brakes to see if it's at about the right tension. You can see that's just about right, and then we've got to cut that end off. Now, the special tool that you'll need is these bike cable cutters, and that'll cut that off at the end. If in a pinch you can use the cutter for pliers. Let's try that. It's usually a bit harder, so I'll show you the difference. So we'll try cutting with these ones. Oh, that worked. These ones tend to be much quicker cut. And once we've got that done, we'll put the cable stop on the end. I'm trying to use the old one. Because I don't like wasting things. And that stops it fraying. So we'll knock that on the end. Squish it on. And then that tucks in underneath there. Tucks in so it doesn't sit out there, otherwise you'll hit it with your foot. Yep, and if you come around here you'll see it's a bit off center once we put the new cable in. So we want to pull this one out, or looks about right. So we'll use that adjustment screw here and here to line that up. But that's how you replace the inner wire, and it's running nice and freely. What we didn't remember to do was put these back on. So we've got to wind these through. It doesn't matter too much, but you can get that rattling, so we'll put those back on the next step. So we're looking down here and we brake. This one's close and this one's moving. So the solution here is with the little grub screw, the adjustment screw, we wind that in half a turn and then try again. Yes, and that's got it there. So there we have it, replace the inner wire. The one last thing to do is always check, grab this 10 times nice and hard, do the 10 emergency stops to make sure the cables doesn't come loose. So once you've done that, you're all set. So always do that safety check at the end to make sure the inner wire is the anchor bolt is securely tightened. You don't want that inner wire to come loose when people are trying to brake, so always do that final check. So that's it, we're done. We can replace the inner wire. Happy riding. See ya.